And we'll move on to the first story, where the clash between members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria and security personnel took a turn for the worse on Tuesday. As sect members clashed with police, this has led the police to arrest and charge 400 members of the sect to court. Our TVC News correspondent Sifon Essien joins us live from Abuja to give us an update on this developing story and of how the police has been handling the incident. Sifon, let's have an update on the situation at this time, especially at the villa.
Yeah, thank you very much. You just mentioned that 400 persons have been arrested in connection with recent violence in the Nigerian capital. Yes, and of that number, a good number of them have been charged to court. We don't have exact figures of those who have been charged to court as investigation progresses. But the police have assured that they are on top of the matter, and they would do due diligence and also engage post-conflict confidence building, because at the moment a couple of people are apprehensive that what caused the conflict might recur. And well, as I'm speaking to you, a police meeting should start anytime from now. The Inspector General of Police is meeting with senior officers and field commanders to take a look at the national security situation with a view to improving it, charting a way forward. Now, that's the thinking of the security service, talking about the police at this moment.
Okay, now we hear that in the presidential villa, as well as the National Assembly complex, amongst others, the Court of Appeal complex, and the Federal Secretariat as well, has security has been beefed.
Do due diligence and also engage post-conflict confidence building, because at the moment a couple of people are apprehensive that what caused the conflict might recur. And well, as I'm speaking to you, a police meeting should start anytime from now. The Inspector General of Police is meeting with senior officers and field commanders to take a look at the national security situation with a view to improving it, charting a way forward. Now, that's the thinking of the security service, talking about the police at this moment.
Okay, now we hear that in the presidential villa, as well as the National Assembly complex, amongst others, the Court of Appeal complex, and the Federal Secretariat as well, has security has been beefed up in those areas. Now, can you tell us what other arrangements do you think we expect to get from the police as regards all of this?
Those are described as critical national assets. Now, those areas which you've mentioned, and security is always tightened around those places. You have a National Assembly. Well, actually, that area is called the 3M zones. You have the National Assembly, the Supreme Court, and the Presidential Villa. So security is, you expect to have been tightened up. You have the Eagle Square, the Federal High Court, critical assets, and it's the responsibility of the lead security agencies and sister security agencies to beef up security around such places against any intrusion or invasion, as the case may be. Well, the security forces are doing that. You're talking about the police, assisted by other security agencies like the civil defense, to ensure that those places don't come under any form of threat, whether by protesters or peaceful protesters that may degenerate into a fracas or what have you. That's the situation at the moment.
Okay, you have spoken with, I'm sure you have met with some residents in that area. What have they been saying? What is the feel around there?
Now, on the outskirts of Abuja, particularly the Abuja Kefi Road, where you had the scenes of recent conflict, the clash between soldiers and the protesting members of the Shi'ites. Those communities along that stretch in the Abuja axis, you have communities such as Nyanya, Karu, and those people, residents, witnessed exactly what happened. They are still apprehensive. I spoke with a couple of them in the last 3 days. I've been in talks with a couple of them, and they are apprehensive that what happened may happen again. They fear that. But the police is assuring them that, well, the matter is being handled the best way they know how to. But of course, humans as they are would be concerned. Like a couple of schools in that axis have been shut down because the school owners don't want their kids to be caught in any violence, as the case may be. Because what they told me when I spoke to one of the proprietor that a couple of members of the community in the neighborhoods were hit by stray bullets in the height of the clash. So they don't want that to happen to their kids, so they shut down. Now that's the situation. So the responsibility now, like the police spokesman said on our program yesterday, is post-conflict confidence building. Now the police intends to do what they call a show of force, a display of their equipment, moving around town to assure residents that security of life and property, well, is being managed to the best of their ability, to give the people some confidence that they could sleep with both eyes closed.
All right, defense correspondent Sifon Essien, thank you very much for talking to us on this situation.